Good morning. Today is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020. Oh, you got stickers to play with? Cool. Well, today I'm going to talk about another thing that gives me awe and wonder. And I tend to find a lot of awe and wonder in nature. But one of the cool things about what I'm going to talk about today, it relates not just to nature and the beauty of nature, but math and geometry. So when I grew up, I went to a traditional school. So math to me was just a bunch of numbers and a bunch of set of rules to follow with those numbers to try to get the right answer. Now, once I took Montessori training and I was able to see and interact with materials like you guys get to do in your first experiences with mathematical concepts, it totally changed the way I look at things. And it gave me a whole new appreciation for math, which up until I was in Montessori training, I really didn't like. Now math is probably, it's one of my favorite subjects to teach. I love all subjects, but I think it's so cool because when we look closely, you saw one duck today. Yes, you did. You had to tell everyone. Is when you look closely in nature, you see math everywhere. And I have a really great book in the classroom that goes through a lot of different examples of that. But what I'm going to talk about today is something called a fractal. Now, in a simplified definition, a fractal is a mathematical geometrical pattern where shapes or repeat themselves on different scales. So they could be, oh, I had a popsicle sticker. Thank you, Hayden. So, one example of a fractal, a very simple example, is something that you'd find in a tree. So here, we saw a branch that we found yesterday, and we see the leaves are in a scale of different sizes. I know these are looking pretty limp and shriveled because... Thank you. Can you give it to me later, though? Thank you. Put it on my shoulder. Okay. But they change in size, and that it's all according to a different scale, and this is all from just the same little branch, and they come in varying sizes, and they'll grow and there'll be more leaves, and that's just one example. There's also a really cool vegetable which I think I brought to school either last school year or the school year before. It's something called Romanesco broccoli. If you've never seen it before, it looks like an alien vegetable, but it's delicious. Tastes a lot like broccoli / cauliflower, and it's got these really cool geometrical patterns when you look at them. And of course, can't forget what I have behind me right now, ferns. Ferns are really cool plants in general because I think there are two different types of plants when we look when we think of plant classification. We think of the flowering plants that reproduce through pollen and the development of seeds. Thank you for the juice. But this is a gymnosperm. Ferns are. There are no flowers, and so they reproduce in a different way. But here you can see the unfurling frond. Here, it's a little hard to see here. The unfurling frond, uncurling. And so here we even see, just in one leaf, how it's the same shape in a repeating pattern, gradually getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And I think that's pretty beautiful. So the closer you look, the more fascinating things you will see in our world. And so I encourage you to look closely at something today and see if you're able to find a mathematical pattern. Yeah, so that's all for today. I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Bye, goodbye, goodbye.